Welcome back to Ricky's podcast, number 14. Best podcast in the world. 14. We got the election results in. Very late reporting, but anywho. So yeah, election results came in. Joe Biden won, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for like some kind of massive revolution or something for whoever wins, just riots in the streets, but it's pretty uneventful, which I'm not sure what I was expecting, but yeah, so he won. I mean, I guess technically they're gonna like vote on it or something in December, the Electoral College or something, but I mean, seems like he's just going to win. So that happened for anybody who still doesn't know who the president is going to be. But yeah, so we got that going on. It's been a hot minute since I've recorded a podcast. But I'm here and I'm back. And I'm good to go. Man, what to talk about? Had a recording session with the old combo. Went pretty well. Don't know what they're planning on doing with the footage or the audio, but 'tis the life of a college student musician. But that should be a good time. Yep. Played some got the platinum in Mafia 2. Dude, I don't know what the deal is with Mafia 2, man, but they put way too many collectibles in there for the platinum, man. It was like, I think I counted it up as like 280 something, just the wanted posters. That is way too many collectibles, man. Way too many. And also the wanted posters looked like they were real people, so they just, I don't know what the casting for that was like, because they're not like real criminals like you would hope from a collectible like that. I mean, I think I'd be finding I don't know, John Dillinger's wanted poster or something, but no, these are just actors that they dressed up like mobsters and were like, okay, you get to be the bad guy now. So that was pretty disappointing, but oh well, I got it. It's all good. Yep. So I feel a little bit more relaxed now that the recording session's over. And should be relatively smooth sailing from here till the end of the semester. So that's going to be a good time. Experimenting with the audio. I listened to, I think, a couple of my podcasts back, and I think I'm leaning in way too deep into the mic. Like you can hear the breathing and stuff. So I'm gonna try this here, just kind of lay off it for a bit, see if that helps. And then maybe you guys won't have to listen to my deep, heavy perv breathing. But, so that should be a good time. Book club, we have started. I don't remember if I told you guys yet, but we are reading A Confederacy of Dunces. So if anybody cares to follow along, I'm just finished chapter 2, so spoilers for chapter 2. Good book so far. And like actually good book, because Dune was a good book, but it was good because it was fucking terrible. So this one's actually a good book, which in a way is actually kind of disappointing. We were talking about it, but I think we might want to switch up our book club and like stop reading, actually good books and just read garbage. So, maybe that'll be coming soon, but that's after we're done reading Confederacy of Dunces. So chapter 2, introduced to Ignatius, or fucking what's his name? I think Ignatius is what his name, Mr. Riley. He's the 30-year-old living with his mom stereotype. Which, I think this is like the biggest fear of every 20-year-old, just to be that guy. But it's one of those things, man. It's hilarious. It's a funny book if you just like not think about it for too long, man, because otherwise it just gets so sad. But that should be a good time. Last night, dude, I went to sleep so late last night. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Just getting off of that combo high, I guess. But I was thinking when I was just lying in bed trying to fall asleep, like, I had like all kinds of subjects planned for what I'm going to talk about when in my like new big comeback podcast, but now I can't remember. And I knew it was going to happen too. I knew I was going to forget everything and just, crash and burn. But hey, man, live and learn. Nobody listens to this anyways, so that should be fine. That should be fine. What was I thinking of? Been playing this game, Superliminal. Cool puzzle game. Recommend it so far. Haven't finished it yet, but I'd assume it's a short game. Might go for platinum. I don't know. Feeling cute. Might delete later. But so that's going good. Let's see. Reading Confederacy of Dunces. Oh yeah, I started this TV show, Reno 911. So funny. So funny. If you got HBO, would recommend. Yep, just shredding through all the subjects that come to mind, and now I've just face planted. I think I heard, that it takes about 100 episodes for you to actually know what you're doing. So hopefully that's true, because it's rough, boy. I tell you, it's rough. I really should start taking notes of what I want to talk about, because it keeps happening to me. I don't know. If only I had an audience, then I could or not an audience. If only I had a guest, then I could bounce off of them. We could talk about some real shit. But it's just me, so I just gotta hold it on my own. What have I been listening to? Listen to this Kenny Garrett album, songbook. Very good. Very good, would recommend. Some sick old jazz. So if you like jazz, Kenny Garrett, my boy. Kenny Garrett. Get into that. Learning about some biotechnology in my biotechnology class. That's pretty interesting. We're learning about the use of kind of large animals for biotechnology. It's pretty interesting. So we got apparently they're working on a thing that apparently we're going to be able to take pig organs and use them for transplants. Which, sounds pretty cool, but, I don't know if there's anybody who's like, oh, I can't believe you're sacrificing all these pigs but, in terms of progress, it's pretty cool. Making cows that apparently are going to be resistant to all kinds of meat diseases or whatever. And of course, the usual, the spider goat. Gonna make some goats that make silk, so that's pretty cool. We made salmon that grows bigger. So salmon are not potatoes, tomatoes. Make those bad boys as big as possible. And thus concludes all the things I learned about in biotechnology this week. That was fast. Oh, we also learned about the Oxitec mosquitoes, which were what I wrote my essay on for the class. We all had to write an essay about some form of biotechnology, and I wrote about the Oxitec friendly mosquitoes. And basically what those were, man, I don't remember if I told you guys this, but you guys, there's nobody listening. But Oxitec, a company making these mosquitoes, I guess, to take care of the mosquito population. kind of in, affected places. And I guess the idea is that they're making these male mosquitoes that are sterile and that pass on, not sterile. They're not sterile, but they have a gene that makes all their, I think their female kids sterile. So what ends up happening is that they pass, they release these mosquitoes out into the wild. They impregnate the female mosquitoes. Female mosquitoes have their kids. The female mosquitoes are now sterile, and then the male mosquitoes still have that gene, so they can keep passing it on. And basically, eventually, like, the whole mosquito population is gonna, get wrecked. So that's what they're working on at the moment. And apparently the trial runs in Brazil are going very well. Or they went very well. I think in the town that they tested it out in, they wiped out 90% of the population in 2 weeks. So yeah, it looks, it's really interesting, man. I would look into it. They got their own website, so you can look into what they do. It's really only for the one type of mosquito. I forget what it's called now, but it's it's most known for carrying just all the good diseases. So they are working on killing that, and then eventually, I guess they've been approved for some more runs in Florida, and I think possibly Texas, depending on how they're feeling, and then I think maybe also still Brazil. So, coming to a dank mosquito-ridden, dark pit near you, Oxitec friendly mosquitoes take care of your problems. So that's pretty cool. Man, what was I thinking about? Yep. I really ought to start taking notes, just at least to have something to fall back on. Because otherwise you get weird silences like this. And that's not good. Been thinking about watching a movie at some point. Haven't watched a movie in a good while. I just kind of, throw on my TV show of choice. Oh, I finished 2 TV shows I was watching, which is why I'm watching, Reno 911. Because I finished the other 2 I was watching. I was watching Community, which was really good. I really liked it. I think the first season by far the best, which is unfortunate because then it's just downhill from there. Not that the other seasons didn't have great ones, but honestly, my favorite character in all of Community was season 1 Chang. Hands down, man. Hands down my favorite. And then they just absolutely butchered the character from season 2 till the very end, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. That whole decision to oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for Community. But, whoever made the decision to fire Chang and just make him a student, what kind of call was his whole dynamic was that he was the teacher, man. You could have made him a biology teacher or something and just kind of follow him around. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense, but it wouldn't make sense if he was just some, fraud Spanish teacher who just, conned his way into the position because, he accuses the dean of being racist or whatever. Yeah, you're really telling me that makes more sense than, the school's really poor, so they just hire this guy to teach everything. I don't know. Didn't make any sense to me. I didn't, good lord. But show was great though. I liked it. Had a nice little sentimental ending, which, what are you expecting? And then I also finished The Good Place, which I'd been waiting because when I first watched it, I watched it when they only had up to season 3, which is kind of funny because I think season 3 is the only season that ends on a cliffhanger. I think every other one you could take them and watch them, and then when you're done with the season, they're over. You could conceivably end the series there. except for season 3. So that was nice. So I got in there. And so there's this whole time I've been waiting for what they're going to do with it. And then season 4 came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to chill until they finish the series this time. Like, it's what I'm doing with Ozark, too. I haven't even started Ozark. Really want to watch it, but I'm not going to until they finish the series, because I don't want to, like... I keep on doing it. It happened with Better Call Saul, too, because I'm up to date for what Netflix has on it. So up to season 4 on Better Call Saul. And I just gotta wait now. So I don't like that. And there's plenty of finished TV shows that are already on there. So I'm just gonna chill on that until they finish it. And so they came out with season 4. And I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for the series to end. Little did I know that season 4 was the end of the series. So I was like, heck yeah. Let's shred through it. And then I did. And it was great. It's a good TV show. Yeah, I really liked it. It's got a lot of corny, moments. Not all the jokes not all the jokes land for me. This is, of course, this is all just what I think. I think it because I said it. But, but it's a good show. I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Massive respect to the people over at The Good Place for ending the series with an actual conclusion. Because, just too many TV shows, man. They only end because they have to. It's like everybody likes to talk smack about The Walking Dead, but, it's like The Walking Dead problem, where they just went on for way too long, and now they just have to keep going until they're, like, forced to stop. Are they even still making The Walking Dead? I ought to look that up. Are they still making Walking Dead? Because, honestly, man, you gotta put that horse down, man. Especially since they've already got, like, spin-offs and stuff. But let's see here. Yeah. I still gotta master the art of reading and talking at the same time, so... Let's see. Where are the seasons at? Donde está? I guess they got 10 seasons. 10 seasons, 147 episodes, which is... It's a lot for when every episode is like an hour long, 40 minutes long, or whatever. But let's see. Are they not on Netflix anymore? It says they stream exclusively on AMC. Weird decision, man. Weird decision to just, because they were on Netflix for like the longest time. Let's see if they're still on. Yeah, no, they're still on Netflix. Let's see. Netflix only has up to season 9, which tells me that they are still making it, I think. I don't know. Look it up yourself, okay? Look, I'm live on a podcast. I can't spend all this time researching stuff. But from what I can tell, it looks like they're still making it, which is like, dude. 10 seasons, bro. 10 seasons. Blows my mind. What are they even doing? Like, what's the plot anymore? Because, I only made it up to, like, season 6 or something when I watched it, like, years ago. Like, back when it was, back when people still cared about it. I watched it and, I made it up to, like, season 6 or something. Followed it kind of past the point when everybody cared about it. And even then, it was like, okay, And look, everybody talks smack about it. Everybody knows why people don't like The Walking Dead. It's repetitive. It's the same plot points over and over again. You get to the place, it's cool, something goes down, there's a bad guy, people die, and then you just, move to a new place, rinse and repeat, kind of forever, But, hey, man, those first couple of seasons were pretty killer. I will say that, at least from what I remember. It's a TV show that, that's still badass, even though nobody talks about it because it ended like years ago. Breaking Bad, man, what a great TV show that was. Still blows my mind. Just, I feel like it really mastered kind of because didn't really feel like the TV show of like, okay, like the writers would get into the room the week before and be like, what are we writing about this week? All right, this week this happens and that happens. It really felt like they actually had, a story in mind. And then they followed it until its natural conclusion, and then they ended it. Which, again, I always have massive respect for people who, can actually end TV shows without being forced to. Which, I get it. You gotta make money. You can't make money if you end your TV show, but hold up. Water. But, massive respect, though, for people who just choose to end it on their own terms. Which, what I say about Breaking Bad and The Good Place, man, is that, they actually had actual conclusions to their stories. Which, I don't know. It's, flexing my big critic brain on you guys. But, that's just what I think. That's what I think, and I think it because I said it. So yeah, so that's why finished those up, so now I'm watching Reno 911, which has no story really, so I might start another TV show to watch concurrently with it. I've been feeling in a comedy mood. Life's hard enough. Lighten up a little bit. But yeah, maybe I'll look into something. Apparently Ozark's on its last season, so hopefully that can come out at some point in the future so that I can finally get into it. I don't know. Let's look through my Netflix, let's see if anything looks interesting, man. I was looking at I guess they got Chappelle's Show. That's pretty cool. Another sketch show. So it doesn't have much of a story. Thinking maybe having it divided up like that. Have a show that's story based and a show that's just, it's just funny. Like Reno 911's just funny. It's like a sketch mockumentary type thing. So, it's just there for the lulz. So maybe I'll get into like a story driven one. I don't know, what's good? What are the great TV shows? Leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe. Do what you want. I've been reading, I'm thinking of ending things in preparation to watching the film, which I believe, directed by Charlie Kaufman, which I love. Love his movies. Like, dude, Synecdoche, New York, one of my favorite movies of all time. Love it. It is super depressing, but it's super good, though. Got Philip Seymour Hoffman, old Philip Seymour Hoffman, playing. It's weird because he's like, he won like the MacArthur Fellowship or whatever in the movie, and yet he still comes off like a loser. Amazing, though. Yeah, great director and writer, Charlie Kaufman. Would recommend just like all this stuff. Yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, of course, is the one that everybody knows. So, if you want to see Jim Carrey in a not comedic role, hit that up. It's like Jim Carrey and it's like Kate Winslet or something. I think so. We're looking it up. I'm pretty sure it's Kate Winslet. But let's see who's the co-star of that. Yep, Kate Winslet. So, you can see those two in the movie. It should be a good time. Oh yeah, Black Mirror. I might get into that. Have something to contrast my comedy here. So maybe I'll get into that. Peaky Blinders. I understand that's about gangs in London. So maybe that has potential. Narcos, I haven't seen. Maybe I'll get into that. Dark. That's a show that, I don't know, it looks kind of interesting to me, but Don't hear anybody talking about it. Don't know what it's about, but hey, maybe I get lucky. And it's actually a pretty cool show. Alright, we ran into the wall of loading, so we're just gonna wait on that. Where you at, my boy? Where you at, my boy? Oh, I watched a part of this documentary on Netflix called Tread. Very interesting, man. Gotta look up the guy's name. I'll just look at it. It's like Heemeyer. Marvin Heemeyer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his name. What are you about? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's it. Marvin Heemeyer. Yeah, Marvin Heemeyer. It's his story, man. Super interesting, man. I guess about this dude that was just a businessman and decided to open up a muffler shop in Granby, Colorado. Just like a little mountain town. And I guess, to make a long story short, not to, go into too much detail, but long story short, like, all of the town's officials and all the local businessmen in Granby were just, like, total dicks to him. Like, to an excessive amount. And he gets into how, the reason why they hated him, like, he'd, I guess, bought, like, the land for his muffler shop, he'd bought, and I guess, with one of the other businessmen, Cody Deutschev, I think is his name, that he had wanted that land and he didn't get it, and he was just like super butthurt about it, and decided to dedicate like all of his time to just trolling Marvin for some reason. Well, that's the reason, but it was a pretty dumb reason. But so I guess eventually he just kind of snaps. I mean, I guess at that point his wife had left him, so he was just totally alone, and all he had was this useless muffler shop. And I guess they just like I guess Cody Deutschev just bought all the land around him and just built his cement factory just surrounding his muffler shop, I believe. And there's just like there's just no road to his muffler shop. He was getting just like, and he was building like a concrete factory, Deutschev. So he just, just the concrete, like dust and stuff just all over him all the time. And it was just absolutely miserable. And just, he's getting nothing out of this. However, I would be like, at that point, I'm like, dude, I mean, I would just kind of cut my losses at that point. Just like, dude, get out of there, because this guy's going to screw you into the ground until you finally give up. Might as well have just given it to him then. But, dude. Super interesting. So yeah, so he just snaps one day and decides, you know what, he's just gonna wreck all these fools. So he takes like a bulldozer and just turns it into just this absolute tank. And he just goes around and just starts plowing through all these buildings. Just basically, yeah, he just demolishes the buildings of like all of these people who've scorned him. Crazy story. Craziest thing of all too is nobody died except for Marvin. He killed nobody, which I think is the part of the story which it's unfortunate, man, that Marvin had to die, because I'm sure he didn't know that he didn't kill anybody, because I don't know if that would have changed stuff, but maybe not. But I feel like, I mean, I'm no lawyer or anything, but I feel like for something like that, like, you're just going around taking down buildings with your giant bulldozer because these guys were like pulling some super shady illegal shit to shut you down. I feel like, the punishment wouldn't be like life, so he would maybe have lived long enough to get out, but I don't know. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe he should have, but But it's unfortunate he had to die. But Otherwise, it's like absolutely hysterical. Just put that aside that one guy died, and it's absolutely hysterical. This guy moving along with his giant bulldozer tank at like, and it's like so heavy he can only go like 2 miles an hour. And so people just have plenty of time to try to stop him. It's just nothing does. They're like putting up roadblocks and they're like putting like other construction equipment in the way, and he's just plowing through all of them just on like this one like single track revenge mission to end all revenge missions. Like he took down the cement factory, he took down like a judge's house, he took down City Hall. I mean, dude. So yeah, that was intense. And he like built like, I guess like cameras on the outside so he could see where he's going. Because otherwise there is no way. Because like police officers would like, they'd get on top of the vehicle and would just be like shooting at it and just be trying. But there was like no way to get in. Because I guess he'd built it, like he just had like a crane with like the shell. And he just dropped that shell on top of the bulldozer so that, and then I think he just, yeah, welded himself inside of it too. So basically at that point he was like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting out of this, so. But, dude, that was intense. I gotta finish that, man. I already heard a lot about it. I watched this YouTube channel. It's a True Crime Loser. Very cool channel, man. Very cool channel. I like it because, I don't know, I feel like he doesn't put, like, he keeps it light, you know? Because it's, yeah, you get all these cases about murderers and pedophiles and people, you know, doing terrible things to each other. And it's easy to just get so down and cynical about humanity. But he still manages to keep it light, man. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he manages to do it, to keep things, to keep that subject matter light, but then also to like not go into like dark humor where it just gets fucked up. But it's like a fun kind of, I don't know, you gotta watch it, man. Great channel. Also because, you know, look, a lot of these things too, they always come off very opinionated to me, where it's like, you know, it always comes off the same way where they just, the YouTuber just always has to put in their personal opinions on these things. And I'm not really into it, where they're just play like, oh yeah, and then this fucking coward piece of shit, you know, stabbed her 32. But it's like, was that really necessary? Do you need to tell me that he's a bastard? You know, does the fact that he like, you know, brutally murdered and raped this woman, is that not evidence enough that he's a terrible human? You gotta like tell me it. So, you know, but he kind of, you know, he doesn't do that, man. And he also has links all the time to like the raw footage of like news events and stuff like that he covers. So it's always good. Business is kind of slow for him at the moment. Not a whole lot of true crime stuff kind of happening. Like he kind of covered all the classics. Like Chris Watts, man. Every true crime dude covered Chris Watts. And he did like Stephanie Lazarus and Staven McDaniel. Which is a joke about his interrogation footage. That's why they call him Stephen. Hilarious. Hysterical. I'd watch that whole like. I'd watch that interrogation footage, man. It's pretty funny. Like it has all the usual interrogation footage isms of like, you know, the picture quality is dog shit, and like the audio is like they put the microphone like across the room so you can like, it's this super echoey kind of. And there's also just like, because it's just straight uncut footage, you just get all of the awkward pauses and stuff. But dude, the one investigator, man, he just drops meme after meme just like nonstop the whole interrogation, man. It is hilarious. And then Steven's just sitting there, just totally unfazed by everything that's, like, just the total memeage that's going down around him. Just totally unfazed. So hilarious. But man, would recommend. It's like 2 hours, so maybe it's not worth it to you to just like sit through 2 hours of slog just for like the pure memes held within. So yeah, that guy, Russell, forget his last name, but he's the guy who's really into underwear. Also covered that guy, the Colonel who really likes women's underwear. And then also decided to rape and murder some ladies, which is like, come on, man. Like, we get it, you're really into underwear, but you know, you weren't irredeemable. Why'd you have to go rape and murder some ladies to get your underwear fix? It just seems so unnecessary. I mean, I guess it was just like he needed like that power trip or something, which is why he did it. But it's like, you know, but otherwise it's like, because like that's all I can assume, because otherwise it's just, man, this guy just really wants underwear, like used underwear, and he'll get it at any cost, even if it means just murdering many people. So we covered him. That was good. Would recommend, man. Hit him up, man. Hit him up. Also, best comment section in the game. It's just all memes. All memes the whole way through. So yeah, that's great. Would recommend that wholeheartedly. And the guy who runs it, God, what's his name? Don't remember his name, but he's a New York comedian who runs the True Crime Loser channel. I've seen some of it. It's pretty good. I haven't seen a whole lot, but from what I've seen, he's pretty funny. And he's pretty funny on the show. At least to me, I think he's hilarious, you know. So, take with that what you will. If you got my kind of sense of humor, boom, there you go. True Crime Loser, hit him up. And well, if you got my sense of humor and you're into true crime. So there's that for you. What else I got? What else do I got? What have I been doing? Yep, just went into that whole tirade about true crime and stuff, and now I'm just totally just zonked out. Maybe that's not the right word. I know other people do it too. I got the tendency to just use words that I don't really know the meaning to, and then just hope they mean what I think they mean. Otherwise, you know. That's a good thing. Watching a little bit of South Park. That's pretty cool. I've watched a few episodes of Robot Chicken, man. Oh, by the way, I got HBO. That's why I'm watching all these things. But started watching Robot Chicken, which was a TV show that like all the kids in my elementary school were super into. And then I just never got to watch because I didn't have cable. Yes, I was that kid. Didn't even have cable. But, you know, so I just had to hear about how good it was. And now that I actually have, you know, the streaming service that it's on, now I can watch it. And it's all good. And it is actually pretty good. I like it. I really liked it. So that should be good. Yep, just browsing the old HBO. They've been advertising the show Lovecraft Country. No idea what it's about. But hopefully it's good. Let's read the synopsis, I guess. It says, a search for a missing father turns into an otherworldly trip. Based on Matt Ruff's novel, the series follows Korean War vet Atticus Freeman and his friend Letitia and Uncle George on a journey across 1950s Jim Crow America. What follows is a struggle to survive against the racist terrors of white America and the terrifying monsters ripped from an H.P. Lovecraft paperback. Pretty interesting. I might get into it, man. Because it's funny. I really like the Lovecraftian horror, even though I've never read a Lovecraft short story yet. Never done it, which is funny. Yeah, I gotta get into that. I gotta read. I gotta read me some H.P. Lovecraft. What do people recommend, man? There's all kinds of recommendations for your first uh, Lovecraft story. Call of Cthulhu, all-time classic. The Shadow over Innsmouth is one that just like every TV show, movie, video game that's inspired by like H.P. Lovecraft has some kind of reference to Shadow over Innsmouth. So that's just iconic. At the Mountains of Madness was one that I hear good things about, and The Rats in the Walls, I've heard was like his scariest one. So I don't know, I might start with one of those. Maybe I'll start with something totally different. I don't know. But I do have a anthology of his entire works, so I do have the complete works of H.P. Lovecraft. If anybody cared. Yeah, I know, weird flex, but okay. But so I have all of his stories, so I can read what I want. Maybe I'll just read whatever's first in that one. Just read them all in order. But yeah, that should be a good time. Oh yeah, I got HBO and Hulu now, so that's cool. And so now I can watch some TV shows. Rick and Morty is on here, so maybe I can finally get into that. My friends have all been being like, "Oh, you gotta watch it, man. You got such a high, you have such a high IQ. You've got to watch it, man. You'd love it." And I'm like, "Okay, guys, okay. You don't have to tell me how smart and beautiful I am all the time. You can lay off a second, you know." Really is embarrassing to have your friends just all the time telling you about how they love you and how you're the greatest person ever and stuff. Oh, such a tragedy. That doesn't happen, but I like to think it could happen one day. But yeah, that's a good stuff right there. Christmas is coming around the corner. Well, Thanksgiving's really coming around the corner. It's almost there. I guess Black Friday is canceled this year, which, you know, makes sense. It's a holiday where everybody's just, you know, it's basically the angry mob holiday. Just everybody's just going at it. So yeah, it makes sense to cancel Black Friday. But I don't know, I kind of always liked like Black Friday, man. I actually always kind of really liked it. It has like it captures that post-apocalyptic aesthetic, I think, somehow. Or maybe it's just the fact that I always get up early for it, so it's nice to get up early. Cuz I always just stay up late, but I always loved to wake up and it not being daylight outside. Just to like wake up at like 3 in the morning, get to the store at like 4 in the morning, and just, you know, and you just get to walk around and do all your good stuff. I don't know. And it's always just so dead. Everybody's so dead. The employees are definitely dead. But the thing is, you get there at 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday, you're like super late nowadays. Or at least was, you know, in the before times. But, I don't know. Apparently the sales are going to be spread across the whole month or something. So, all goes well. I'll check out something like that. See what they got going on for me. But otherwise should be a good time. Classes don't come back in person after that, which is a little unfortunate. Don't get any more combo or big band action. So, that's that. Let's see. Big band, we're going to be, I guess they canceled recording for the band itself, but as rhythm section, we still got to go and lay down the tracks. So, you know, not much has changed for us, really. So, that should be a good time. But yeah, Thanksgiving. But yeah, Christmas is coming around the corner. I always felt this way about Christmas, man. Well, not always, just recently, but you know, I feel like Christmas, man, it's lit when you're a kid. Just like, and it's because like you have no money, no way to make money, because you're like 8 years old and they've got this whole child labor or whatever. You just, so you don't have any way to buy anything. And then Christmas is like the one day a year where well, like Christmas and your birthday are like the two times where you're like, okay, this is a thing I want that is just fun and it's just for me and I would like it. And then they get it for you. Your parents, your family gets it for you and you're like, heck yeah. But now that I'm an adult, it's like, if I wanted to buy something, I could like totally just buy it if I want to. And it's not like my tastes are like pretty cheap. So it's not like, oh yeah, this like $500 whatever is I'd be cool to get. For me, it's always like, oh yeah, there's a sick old book I'd like to read, or this video game that seems pretty cool. And for those, it's just like, for the books, like the books I'm into are always like $3-4. So it's like, yeah, I could drop that money on a book. I'm not that poor. And then like for video games, like I never buy anything new. It's always used, pre-owned. I get it for like $20 or something, save the money. And I don't buy that often, so it's just like, it's just a good time to just have your own resources and be able to buy what you want. But then when Christmas comes around, you're like, oh shit, I probably should have left something for people to buy me, because I have like all the material possessions I could ever want. And that's the thing. Like when you're a kid, all your wants are like material. Someone could totally just give them to you and you're set. But when you're an adult, the things you want are all like, I'd like to get 9 hours of sleep a night, and I'd like to be less stressed about work. I'd like to be in shape. I'd like to eat better, take care of myself. I'd like to start meditating. Those are the types of things, and nobody can give that to you. So it's just all down to you to make those decisions. So anyways, that's my whole rant about Christmas. It's still a good holiday, though. It is genuinely nice. Like when you were a kid, dude, I remember when I was a kid, and everybody used to always be like, hey man, Christmas, it's, the presents are cool and all, but it's really all about giving. That's where the true joy lies. And I've just always called bullshit. Like, dude, come on. Who do you think you're fooling? Telling kids that like, oh, it's all about the giving, man. You gotta love, it's all about being together with your family and being grateful for what you have, not just, but I mean, come on. Okay. I mean, who do you think you're talking to? Everybody knows that Christmas is good because you get tons of gifts. And you get, because you get stuff. Nobody likes it because you give things. But now that I'm an adult, it feels pretty cool to give stuff, And I always kind of felt like gift giving was like an art form, man. Like you gotta know the person, you gotta like figure out, and I always like the kind of gag gifts. That's what I tend to give a lot of the time. So, but, but yeah, gift giving is also pretty great. Now that I'm an adult, I really get into it. Sorry, it got pretty awkward there, but then I just suddenly realized that I gotta gotta figure out what I'm getting for my friends. And I can't remember what I've given them before. Because what I tend to do with a lot of my closer friends is I'd give them like, books. Just that, that like the topic is always like books that would immediately put them on an FBI watch list. So I'd get them like a Communist Manifesto, a Quran. Like I haven't come across any Mein Kampfs. I know, unfortunate. My local bookstore doesn't have Mein Kampf. Oh, woo woo woo. but haven't been able to get that. But don't want to spoil it on the podcast. Some of the books I've got on lockdown, but I'm trying to remember what I got for people, and I don't know. So we'll just figure it out. Been giving out some starter kits, which I always they have the potential for getting a little expensive because it's like a ton of stuff rolled up into one, which is why I've only ever given like 2 in my life. But both times they're pretty funny. That's the thing about giving gifts is that, dude, and that's the thing about me, I think, is that I just love making a person laugh, man. I know I'm an attention whore, but just the best feeling, man. Best feeling. I feel sorry, man. I feel so bad for anybody who's like not funny to somebody. That's just gotta be sad. Just like nobody laughs at your jokes. And you're just super serious all the time. It's gotta be rough. But yeah, man, making somebody laugh. It's the best thing. And part of why I take gift giving is such a serious art. Because it's all about the craft. It's all about the joke. It's all about the gag, my bro. Let me adjust this mic here because it's getting serious up in here. Oh, let me double check here. Hold on. Okay, I think that's the right setting. Making sure I have the microphone on the right setting, What is it, 52 minutes into the podcast? It's already almost over. That reminded me just doing some stretching. But yeah, it's almost over, and now I'm checking to make sure the mic is actually all right. That's right, 100% professional podcast. Best podcast in the world. Beautiful, perfect. No flaws. So that's good. Got a new battery for my laptop. That was it's so good, man. It's so good. Because the one thing I could always say against this laptop before is that the battery was non-existent. It just had to be plugged in the whole time, or it would die in like 30 minutes on a full charge. So I got a new battery. Pretty cheap, like 50 bones. For what is, basically a new computer. Pretty excellent. But so now it lasts way longer. And I'm happy. So now this podcast could be potentially mobile. So that's pretty sick. Yeah, I gotta get some guests. I gotta start bothering my friends. Con them onto this podcast so that I could talk to somebody for an hour. Part of the reason why I started this podcast, man, is that I'm like stuck indoors, can't go anywhere, can't have these super long conversations that I always love to have with people. That's my favorite thing in the world, having like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long discussions with people. Just about anything, whatever comes to mind. Favorite thing in the whole wide world. And so I started this. Which the unfortunate thing is that it's solo, so I can't really get that. But hey, I like to talk. Despite what people's first impressions might be, I do love to talk. Love to hear myself talk. Which is why I'm plugged in. So that's a good time. So anywho, if anybody was questioning my motivations for starting a podcast, you now know. Man. That's the thing about these podcasts, man. I gotta start doing some interesting shit so that I can get on here and have a whole story to talk about. You know what? I think I'm gonna go hiking. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Random, I know. I don't know. I just gotta walk. Dude, my legs are like noticeably weaker than they were at the beginning of quarantine, man. Just because I've just been sitting down, doing my schoolwork, sitting down, practicing, laying down, watching a show, playing video games, just fucking off all day. And yet your legs are going to take a hit. I'm sitting down right now. If there's a way to stand up and do this thing, I'd probably do it. Adjust my mic again. Make sure it's all good. But, dude, I gotta do something. I know I gotta do something. Only thing to do is just to do it. I don't know. Semester's almost over. I'll have some time. Hopefully I can have some faith in myself. And I can do some good. But, who knows? I don't know. I'll see. I gotta do something though, man, because this is just... I don't know. It'd be nice to come into one of these podcasts and, have, a full-on story that can take a large chunk of time to get through. But, anywho, that's me thinking about content for podcasts. That's right. I am now a true YouTuber. My entire life is content. And everything I do is motivated by whether or not it could make a good story. So, it's like the vlogger problem. Water. Nothing like a couple seconds of dead air to make people question whether or not their YouTube video is buffering or something. But yes, that should be a good time. Oh, I got my sister into video games. That was pretty cool. Yeah, we played, she played? She played, what's that called? What Remains of Edith Finch, which is a good game. I love it. She seemed to like it too. So that was great. We played something together. I don't remember what we played. Oh, well, maybe it'll come to me, maybe it won't. But right now she's playing the first Uncharted. And thank goodness, she seems to really like it, so... Hopefully we can make that into a series. Just play all the Uncharted games. Uncharted, man. One of my all-time favorite video game series. Hot take. I'll give a hot take. The thing about Lost Legacy, man. Don't care for the story. The thing about Lost Legacy is that the gameplay, man, is best in the series, man. It's up there with 4, just best gameplay in the whole series. Absolutely fantastic. Uncharted always kinda, sorta, possibly dealt with some stealth at some times. But I think, starting with 4 is when they actually, had a system going. And it's funny because it actually kind of turned into just a bit of a stealth game. Lost Legacy did. But yeah, I love the gameplay, but the story is just, it's just noticeably generic. Because when you think about it, Uncharted, the storylines are all pretty, pretty much the same. You got the main characters, and they're all looking for this lost treasure city. And then when they get there, supernatural stuff goes down, and it's, it's all crazy. But, even though it's generic plot, I think it's probably just the characters are what really makes it. Because, of course, Nathan Drake and Sully, some of the all-time greatest video game characters of all time. Elena's great, too, in all of them. Chloe was great in 2. I don't know, I just didn't really care for her in Lost Legacy. I feel like they kind of, tweaked her character just a little bit to make her just a little bit less sexist. But in doing so, they kind of, she was very much not the character she was in 2. At least from what I could gather. And Nadine, I don't know. Nadine was a villain in 4, but I mean, I don't know. She's just I'm not really feeling her character and stuff. And they had Sam in there, and Sam, I liked Sam in 4. I really did like him, but I feel like what made him for me was his dynamic with Nate. And now that Nathan Drake's out of it, he kind of just isn't as... And also the writing, dude. they wrote his character just being the punching bag, and it was just the whole like, oh yeah, girl power, and yeah, fuck all men are stupid and pigs, and women are the future, and women should run the world type of, really felt like that at a lot of times. Like, they just really, whacked out his character when he just kind of wasn't that character in 4. I feel like Lost Legacy would have worked way better if they just not used Sam. Just like make a new male character to be your, all men are stupid punching bag. But I don't know, that's just what I think. Call me what you want, but look, that's just what I think. Just didn't care for it. Gameplay was fantastic. Story, didn't care for it so much. And also because it's like, the whole story is just like, oh, the Middle Eastern terrorist is going to, blow up the world if we don't stop him. So we better, stop him. And then they do. And it's just, it's just your normal plot. Which, I don't know, like, because I criticize Lost Legacy for that, but the Uncharted games, the main games, they kind of had that Indiana Jones thing kind of going on. That was just pretty much the same deal, but it just didn't feel generic. Which I think leads me around again. Yeah, I think the difference was really the characters. The characters are what really did it for me. And I don't know, Chloe just isn't what she was in 2. Nadine wasn't too interested in her anyways. And Sam, they just totally butchered his character. So, I don't know. There you go. Hot take. I think a lot of people love Lost Legacy. I think that's what the consensus is. But that's just what I think. Not to say it's not a good game. Would recommend. It does feel like DLC, and it is noticeably shorter than any other Uncharted game. Especially after 4, which was like the longest in the series, came Lost Legacy, which was the shortest. So, I don't know. We'll see if they make some more Uncharted games. I would be interested in that. See what they got going down. Maybe make Sam the main character. I think that was what people were theorizing this whole time, but it doesn't have to be Sam. Do what you want. I don't know. I'm not the game designer, writer, whatever, but I'm just a guy with a bunch of opinions, and I put them onto internet for everybody to see because I'm very narcissistic and egotistical, and I have a bit of a god complex. So those are my motivations. Anywho, that's been my hour. Thank you guys for coming on, listening. If you are, you're not. Nobody does. Nobody listens to this podcast. But, thank y'all anyways. I will see nobody in the next episode. There we go. Another one in the books. I gotta come up with an outro for this thing, man, because I just keep eating shit at the very end just because I'm like, oh, goodbye. I guess see you later. I don't know. Maybe I'll come up with something. I'll go talk to somebody about it. Maybe if I can get Justin on here again, I'll make it a thing. Anywho, see you guys later. Thank you for coming. See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. End of the podcast. It's the end of the